Want to shred your opponents and all the AIs in the game? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my best assault rifle build for the Division 2 with the new update. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Esiva, this is LaserBolt, and welcome to today's video, guys. Today we're back into Division 2, and we are making builds again. You guys have been messaging me on Discord, on YouTube. Laser, can you please update your builds with all the different changes that have come your way with title update number 6? And I listened to you guys, and we are updating a couple of builds. Not only that, but a lot of things have changed. Like synergy's totally different. Now you're not able to do, like, talents don't stack up anymore. So there, a lot of things have changed, so we do need to update these builds. And what makes the new update extremely awesome is the fact that now almost every weapon you use could be turned into a build just because of the way they've done it. So I'm really happy with the changes that made. But like always, guys, before we get started, want to remind you guys about our giveaway. We're giving away 4 free copies of Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the system of your choice. To enter and participate, it's super easy. All you gotta do is click the link down below where it says Join Bolt Nation, and you guys will be automatically entered. Now, before we get started talking about the build, I do want to let you guys know that the build I'm about to show you is the maximum stats you could get for this particular build. Of course, it's going to take a little bit of farming to get some of these stats. Some of you might already have these stats if you've been playing the game for quite a while now. Some of you who might be new to the game might not have these stats, but these are the stats you want to be shooting for. So like always, guys, with our builds, we always get started with the attributes. And there are only 2 primary attributes that you're going to be primarily focusing on, and that is going to be on red and on blue. But let's talk about what numbers you want to hit. So for the yellow, you want to hit 0. Doesn't really matter what you hit. I mean, you can hit 1, you can hit 2. Utilities don't really matter. Now for defense, you want to at least be on 3 defense. The target I'm putting here is going to be 4, but you at least want to be hitting 3 defense for this one. The main one that you want to make sure you target, and you want to make sure you target at least 10 offensive. That's 10 red. That's going to be your number 1 goal in this particular build, because what makes this build so good is that we are going to have a lot of firepower. But don't think just because we have a lot of firepower, there's not going to be enough survivability, because there is going to be a ton of survivability with this build. Now let's talk about the weapons. Now for weapons, primarily your main weapon, your primary weapon has to be a AR, because this is an AR build. Now the weapon of choice has to be a weapon that has a really good fire rate. The faster fire rate that the weapon has, the more better this build's going to be. Now, there are a couple weapons you could put up in here. You could put the FAMAS, you could put the P419, the CTAR. Those are really good weapons that are going to be doing very well with this particular build. Of course, the primary focus here is making sure you get an AR that has a really fast fire rate. In addition to that, you also want to make sure that you're getting the right talents for this particular weapon. So there are 2 talents that are going to play a very important role in this weapon being very OP, and that is Fast Hand number 1. Basically what this is going to do, it's going to make you reload faster, so you'll be burning bullets very much with the weapons you're picking. And you want to make sure you'll be able to reload fairly quickly so you can get back into the engagement. The other talent is Allegro. That's just going to increase your fire rate. This is going to make you burn ammo really fast, but you're going to be able to get that ammo right back with that fast hand reload speed. So it's really important to pair both of them, because both of them synergize very well. And last but not least, guys, it's not a requirement, but protective reload is actually pretty good. This is going to give you a little bit bonus armor when you're reloading. And seeing that you're going to be reloading a lot, it makes perfect sense to put that protective reload in there so you can get that nice synergy with all the talent. For our secondary weapon, guys, we're going to go with the Merciless. Now, you don't really have to go with the Merciless. You could go with the Ruthless as well. Like I said, a lot of weapons that weren't working pretty well before this update now actually work very well. Both of these weapons will give you the ability to have a passive talent that procs about 15% damage buff. And that is what you're mainly looking for. The ones that are going to be beneficial for you guys are going to be the Merciless and the Ruthless. So you can place whichever one you like here. I personally prefer the Merciless, but you could go with the Ruthless if that's the one you want to pick. As far as your sidearm is concerned, guys, any sidearm will do. Like, you guys have been watching any of my videos, you guys know that I always prefer the double barrel sawed-off every single time. Only when it's like a build kind of focusing on a sidearm or a hand cannon is the only time I kind of go with different stuff. But the double barreled sawed-off is actually pretty OP. The only talent you want to worry about here is, of course, is your holster talent. And for this one, we're going to go with In Rhythm. And you'll understand why once we talk about what type of skills we have in our inventory and why In Rhythm will work very well. Well, what does In Rhythm do? It pretty much allows you to get a possibility, a 5% possibility of refreshing your active skill cooldowns on any enemy that you kill. And this could occur every 60 seconds. So it's always a really good talent to have because it does proc quite often. Now it's time for us to talk about the gear. Now we're going to be tapping into 2 gear sets that are going to give us additional benefits. And that's going to be Douglas and Harding and Fenris Group. And I'll tell you guys once we get into that. So for the mask, guys, we're going with a Douglas Harding. Now the reason why we picked Douglas is because we want that 5% accuracy that we get for having one piece. But our main objective is to getting the 2-piece proc, which is a 10% critical hit damage. This is a crit build, so it's very important to get as much crit hit damage as we can. And for this one in particular, guys, we're going to be targeting the highest damage to elite we possibly can. I believe the highest damage to elite, if I remember my stats correctly, is 57. And you're going to be able to get as high as you possibly can with this one. If you have a 57 God roll, well, then kudos to you guys. You guys are extremely awesome. If you don't, you want to make sure that you prioritize the highest damage to elite you could possibly get and place it into this mask. Theoretically speaking, by the time we get done with this build, we're going to be looking to target about 85% damage to elite, and the majority of that damage is going to be coming from the mask. So that's your main priority when it comes to this one. Now you also want to make sure you get critical hit chance because once again, this is a crit build. So you want to get a mask with 2 reds. That's going to be your main objective. As far as talents are concerned, this one's going to drop with the perfect concussion. As you guys know, things are pretty much defined on what drops with what now. And perfect concussion, what it does, it grants 20% headshot damage for 2 seconds and 5 seconds if you're using a marksman rifle. All right, so now onto our backpack. Now for our backpack, once again, we're getting Douglas and Harding backpack. Now the reason why, remember we said we wanted that 5+ accuracy, and now we're tapping into that 10% critical hit damage, which is really important for us. For here, the attributes are concerned, we want critical hit chance. That's our main one. And we also want weapon damage. Now, if you don't have weapon damage, you get assault rifle damage. But either or will play a very important role. But that is the main thing you're targeting here. So you're going to want to have a backpack that drops with 2 reds, 1 blue, and it gives you a gear mud slot that lets you put another red. So you're going to be ending up with 3 red and 1 blue. Now you want to make sure that it drops with critical hit chance and weapon damage once again. And you're going to be applying a weapon damage or AR damage gear mod for this particular build. It's just going to be based on your criteria. But the higher you could get on crit hit chance and weapon damage or AR damage, the better it's going to be for your particular build. Now, as far as talents are concerned for the backpack, we're going to go with Spark. Now, Spark is a very interesting talent because what this is going to do is that once we damage an enemy with a skill, which we will be using our skill a lot, it's going to give us plus 15 weapon damage for 15 seconds. Once again, this is a hard-hitting build, and we want to make sure we're proccing this as often as we can. For our second talent, we're going to go with a Restorative. It's going to give us plus 30 health on kill, and this is just going to give us a little bit more survivability. It's kind of the best talent you could go with here. You could technically go with Vital, but Vital only gives you that plus 25, and you're not constantly proccing it, so this one's going to allow you to proc it every single kill. Now on to our chest piece. Now for our chest piece, guys, we're going to be doing the Fenris group. The reason why we want to have a Fenris group is because we want to get that plus 10 assault rifle damage just by using the brand. That is the main reason we're going with Fenris. In addition to that, guys, this is where we're going to be getting most of our health and most of our survivability, because we're going to be tapping into a couple talents. And as you guys know, the Fenris chest piece is always going to be dropping with a specific talent, and I'll tell you guys what that is. But first, let's talk about the attributes. So for the chest piece, guys, we're looking to target one that drops with 2 blues, 1 red, and it has a spot for a gear mod, a red gear mod. So that is the main one we're going for. Usually, I think the name of this one's called Ferocious Calm. I believe that is the kind of default name that's going to drop with these stats. And you're looking to get as high as you possibly can on health, 60 or plus. And you're going to want to make sure that it drops with weapon damage. That's going to be your number 1 priority. And then the other blue is pretty much total health or total armor. It's just going to be dependent on what you feel comfortable with. But the main ones you want to make sure you get is health and weapon damage. Now for your gear mods mod, once again, like I said earlier regarding the backpack, is you could go with AR damage or you could go with weapon damage. That's going to be up to you guys. but both of them will work perfectly well. Now the vest will drop with the talent, the Perfect Berserk. It's going to give you a really good stuff to have, and it's cool because it requires you to have an assault rifle. This is an assault rifle deal, so it's going to proc fairly well. What it's going to do is going to give you plus 10 weapon damage for every 20% of max armor depleted. And since you're going to be running and gunning, your armor's going to be getting depleted, and you're going to be able to lay some damage, and it's going to boost that damage when your armor is getting depleted. So it's a really good one to have. Now for your second talent, guys, you're going to want to put Vital on here. That's going to give you plus 25 health. The reason why we went with this one and not a different one is because we want to make sure that our armor is getting smashed, but we want to make sure we're not dying, and having that extra plus 25 health is going to allow us to do that. Even though we're running and gunning, we're going to be able to have our health up, but our armor is going to be going depleted, which is going to let us do more damage, but it's going to give us a nice synergy and survivability. Now, what makes this build extremely amazing is the fact of what we're able to do with our gloves, because with our gloves, guys, it's going to tie in the synergy that we are getting from our chest piece. So for our gloves, we're going with the 511 Tactical. This is going to allow us to tap into that little 5% protection from elites, and we're going to be doing really high-end content, especially the brand new raid that's coming out. This is going to be a very good build for that particular aspect, because we want to do a lot of damage, but we also want to be able to take hits. Now for this one, you're going to be looking for one that's called Death Grips. This is going to be the item name drop. You're going to target one that drops with 2 reds, and that's going to be critical hit chance and assault rifle damage bonus. Now that's the main thing you want to go here. You want to get your crit hit chance as high as you possibly can. The higher you could get it, the better it's going to be for this build. But your assault rifle damage, you kind of want to make sure this is maxed out at least to 13. Some of you might have like a 10 or 11, but if you could try to get one with 13, that's going to be perfect for you guys. Or if you could just kind of transfer something over and get that as high as you can, that would be amazing. But the main thing about the gloves is not so much the attributes, it's the actual talent itself, the Perfect Clutch. Now the Perfect Clutch ties in perfectly, see what I did there, with the Perfect Berserk, because remember, with the vest, we're getting 10 weapon damage when our armor is getting depleted. But once we synergize it with the Perfect Clutch, what's going to happen is that every time we get a crit hit, it's going to restore 25% of our missing health. So that's going to give us a nice survivability, plus it's going to allow us to get a little bit more damage from our armor as well, because it's also going to be repairing 2% of missing armor when we're getting a crit hit. This is just amazing synergy, guys, with the Perfect Berserk and Perfect Clutch. This is what makes this build so potent and so good for the current meta. Now for the holster, guys, we're going to go with a Gilligard. We're just pretty much targeting one that drops with 1 blue and 1 red, and it gives us an option to drop 2 more reds within our gear mod slot. So it's going to be a total of 3 reds and 1 blue here. You want to get as high as you possibly can here on health. You want a crit hit chance to drop with it. And as far as your gear mods, you want to apply either weapon damage or AR damage. And last but not least, guys, are the knee pads. For the knee pads, we're going with the Fenris group. Once again, guys, the reason we're doing double Fenris group is for the simple fact we want that plus 10% protection from elite. So in total, we're going to get 15 protection from elite. Since we're double dipping in our name gears, so we're getting that a lot. Now here, guys, like I said, you're going to go with the Fenris group. Your course is going to drop with 1 red, and this is going to give you critical hit chance. You want to get this maxed out all the way to 8. As far as talents are concerned, you want to go with hard hitting. This is going to give you plus 25 damage to elite. Remember, we already have 50 plus damage to elite of our mass. We add that additional 25 is going to give us 75 damage. With this particular build, you're looking to target at least 85 damage plus 2 damage to elites, and the majority of that damage is coming from the knee pads and, of course, from the mask itself. As far as the second talent, we're going to go with Composure. This is technically the only one that you could kind of go with. You could go with Cloak, but you're still going to have 5 or less utilities, which you theoretically already have because we're at 0. But that's the only other one that you could actually pick from here. But I like the fact that Composure gives us that extra weapon damage, and I think it's very valuable because sometimes when you're in cover, you want to have more damage. The more damage you're able to output, the better it's going to be. Now let's talk about what specialist benefits the most for this particular build. You're going to go Sharpshooter or Gunner. Preferably, I would recommend Sharpshooter. I think that would be your #1 choice. Gunner's actually pretty effective, but I think Sharpshooter actually favors this build a lot more. Now, as far as skills are concerned, you're going to want to go with a Defender Drone and a Cam Launcher or a Heal Hive. That's going to be the main ones that are going to work for this build. It works really good in the synergy department. You're going to be able to drop your drone, or you're going to be able to call your drone very often, so it makes it very spammy, and you're going to be able to proc a couple of talents when you're actually doing your drone. Now, this build favors playing solo, and it also favors playing with a team. Either way, you're going to be doing a ton of damage, which is the main focal point of the build itself. Now, to talk about the target numbers you're going to want to target for this build. Critical hit chance, you want to get at least at 50%. The higher you get here, the more better it's going to be. Critical hit damage, you're going to want to make sure you're at 30% or higher. And the other ones that are really important, of course, is your assault rifle damage bonus. You want to go make sure you're at 25 or higher. If you could get this to maybe a 40%, that is pretty godly and OP. Headshot damage, you're looking to roughly get between 60% headshot damage. And for damage to elites, once again, you want to make sure you hit that 85 damage to elites, because that's going to make you a monster. Now, you could theoretically get this really high there than 85, but 85 was a really good number to target. Now, for some reason, if your gear mods, you didn't drop the assault rifle damage, you could go with all weapon damage. And for this one, you're targeting at least a 40% damage overall. Once you guys put this build together, you guys are not going to want to try any other build out there, because this build is extremely OP. Now, I have other builds coming your way, an updated SMG build, an updated rifle build, an updated, LMG build. Which one would you like to see next? Let me know in the comment section down below. I do hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful and informative. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys, drop a like. And if you would like to see more Division 2 coverage, make sure you keep it locked on this channel. And I will catch you guys on the next video.